Okay.
Woo! Hello, everybody. Welcome to another OJ Opinion Junkies here on His of the Mind. Don't adjust your sets. I am here to host for today. I am Richter Hammer, and joining me as per usual, we have Chris A.K. the Mole
Hello.
and Jim Phoenix.
Is it really usual when he hasn't been here in 3 weeks?
I have no idea. I haven't either, so usual for me.
To be fair, Jim,
It's retro.
me and Rick weren't there. They're the filler episodes.
Ah, okay.
That's like when this villain emerges, it'll never be talked about again.
Who's super powerful, and we totally shouldn't have, ignored him for so long.
Yeah.
But as we do, we're going to go through our news section where we talk about up to two things that we saw in the world of entertainment, gaming, all that good stuff that we want to talk about. And then our catch-up section where we talk about up to two things we did over the previous week. And then our topic for this one is the recent trailers that they've shown. Seem to have had a lot over the past week, so we figured we'd talk about some of those.
Yeah, I figured we might as well. Otherwise, that's going to be everyone's news, this trailer.
Yeah, pretty much.
It probably wouldn't have been, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, so with your first bit of news, take it away, Mole.
Yeah, I'll get the big news out the way first. Not the one I'm most happy about, but the one that just made me go, when I saw it, I must take this as news. Marvel Studios has officially confirmed the new cast members for the upcoming Thor Ragnarok.
Woo!
And that includes two-time Oscar winner Cate Blanchett.
Nice.
It also includes Tessa Thompson from Creed and Selma, who will bring the classic hero Valkyrie to life. Carl Urban, we all know him from Dread, will be...
Nice.
he will be in there as well, but the reason I took this news, Rick...
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Goldblum! Jeff Goldblum! You may know him from everything. But he's going to be a mysterious and powerful new villain. Called Hala.
Oh.
And I'm like, nice.
Okay,
Oh
then.
my god, I may have misread that one. That may be who the other one's playing.
I was going to say.
Yeah, he's an eccentric grandmaster, apparently.
That makes more sense.
But Jeff Goldblum, awesome.
Yes.
Yep.
Back to you, lovely Rick.
All right, so Jim, your first bit of news?
Okay, by the way, just in relation to more of those, I believe I saw on that list, they also, we already knew it, but they also did mention Mark Ruffalo, confirming for a fact that the Hulk will be in the movie.
They had, but they already announced that a while back.
Fair enough.
Because they literally made that statement. That's why during the Avengers, or not Avengers, Civil War, there's that line of, oh, Thor and the Hulk have been misplaced. We all knew. What was that?
It's okay. It was basically Avengers Civil War.
Yeah.
Anyway, I only have one bit of news, so don't come back to me after this. But I figured it should, yeah, ever for anything. I figured it should be mentioned because neither of you had it on your list that I saw down there.
This will be fun. And one bit of news has to be epic to make up for lack of two news.
Well, it's epic depending on if it turns out to be true or not. But supposedly the subtitle for Star Wars Episode 8 leaked on the internet. And according to this, the photo of a poster that somebody took ahead of the Celebration Con, supposedly it's Episode 8, Fall of the Resistance. Which, if that's true, even if it's only the working title, that's significant insight into where the franchise might be going next.
Interesting.
Yeah, into remaking Episode 5.
Pretty much, yeah. It's right back again. We all knew that was coming, but...
We did. Rogue One looks cool.
It does. How about that new Han Solo? He's Han Solo. Sorry. But yeah, that was my news.
All right. So for my first bit of news, I saw this sounded kind of interesting, but Microsoft said that on Windows 10 for PCs, they're coming out with Forge Halo 5 Guardians Edition, which, as far as people can tell, is the map editor for Halo 5. So like you can't really play Halo 5 on PC. It's just to make the maps to then share. And I'm like, okay, that's I can get with that. It's an odd choice to be sure, but that might actually be a good way to do it, where you can build it on the PC or something instead of having to sit there and you have more keys to work with and the mouse and stuff. And I'm like, that's it could be terrible. It's an odd choice to be sure, but I think that could actually work. So we'll see how that works. Interesting idea.
Yeah, that could be pretty cool.
All right, so Mole, your second bit of news.
Okay. CEO of Japanese video game consultancy firm Kantar Games, hopefully I'm saying that right, Seken Toko believes that Resident Evil 7 is definitely in development and that it will return the series to its horror roots. He then even went on to state that the entire game will go back to RE's horror roots and essentially be a clean slate, he said. He further noted that it will be revealed at E3 and that Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain and Silent Hill's PT designer Jordan Amaro will be working on it. It hasn't been official yet, but that's the rumor, and I'm like, fuck yes, Resident Evil back as horror. Yes!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hopefully that'll turn out well for him. All right, so my second bit of news is they had a new update to League of Legends that I read about that actually sounds pretty good, even though I don't play that game. But because if anyone's played a MOBA, there are times where in the beginning someone like disconnects or whatever, so instead of being 5-on-5, it's like 4-on-5. So they put in a new feature where if that happens, like within the first 3 minutes or something of the game, you can type /remake, and if half the people on the side with 4 people, I think it's only that side, but if half the people on that side agree to it, then it'll just put everyone back out in the lobby, and no one loses any points except for the person that wasn't there. They get like full point deduction as if they lost it. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea, because I've hated that when that happens too, where you start, you're going, and you're like, oh, we're down a person. Oh, well, because like it's possible to fight back, but it's really an uphill battle. And when it starts right in the beginning, you're just kind of like, oh, well, this sucks.
Yep.
And hopefully they'll come up with some ways to do it. For other instances, like if somebody leaves in the middle and they don't come back, and you're just like, because it said one of the things was like, if there's no kills, it'll happen. And I'm like, oh, so you need no kills in the first 3 minutes? Like that sucks. Because the first minute maybe, because that's before the minions have spawned, so most people don't run out there. But like if you're on a team of 5 and it's like, oh look, it's they're down a person, you could just run into a tower and sacrifice yourself, and then they can't vote. It's like, so it's a step in the right direction, not fully to the destination, but they're trying to. So give them credit for that.
It did sound pretty cool.
All right, so now on to the catch-up section.
Catch-up!
So with the first, let's go with Jim.
No, he's the boring one.
You picked wrong, you fool!
No.
I'm sorry, New Pew.
Anyway. So, let's see, which one first? I guess I'll do some first. My first catch-up, basically the 2 shows I watched this week are my catch-ups. Shoot, hang on, sorry. Go ahead, why don't you go first, Paul?
Is that okay, host?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
It'd be funny to just be like, no, we will wait.
Yeah, we will
We
wait.
just turn on the web cameras and just sit there with our most bored expressions and just stare.
Yes. Pull out some ironic books to read while waiting. But the first thing I watched this week, well, technically it was last week, but it was after the recording. It was last Saturday. It was exactly a week from now. It was on the Saturday, where yeah, it would have been the Saturday, well, early Sunday morning. Was UFC 198.
Mm.
We have a new heavyweight champion, Stipe. That was pretty awesome, and also really disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he won, he did so in like fucking like what was it, 2 minutes 40 something seconds
Mm.
via knockout, which I don't mind. That made it really fucking exciting. But I was like, wait, oh my god, he just won the title that fast. And it's funnier too because he's like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah, and it's like, wait a minute, if this was WWE, how much would people be like, boo?
Yeah.
But I'm like, in UFC, it's like, fuck yeah, he fucking destroyed him with a knockout. We also had the debut of Christine Justino, or as they kept calling her, Chris Cyborg. And she won her match in under 2 minutes. It was like a minute and a half, and she just fucking destroyed everyone. That was fucking awesome. The prelims were great. It was an awesome pay-per-view. It was probably one of the best pay-per-views we've had in a while. I was like, oh my god, yes, I love that pay-per-view. But next, the other thing I did this month, I'm going to try this week, and literally today, I'm going to try and avoid spoilers because I know everyone's seen this. Creed. And I believe on the box it's Creed: A Rocky Legacy. So fucking good, that film. I was thinking, oh, it's just going to be, it's just going to be Rocky, but Rocky's going to be Mickey. They actually work in a new story in there, and the whole focus on a different story. Like, Rocky's story was, oh, no one thinks he would win because he's like the underdog just picked out of obscurity. This guy's one is, he wants to stay in obscurity, sort of, if that makes sense. The new guy does, by wrestling under boxing under a different name, because he doesn't want to take the name Creed like his dad, because he doesn't want to be thought of as a Creed, because he doesn't think he'd live up to it. And then you have the whole thing of Rocky, slight spoiler, has cancer. So he has to look after a sick Rocky, and you're like, but don't worry, Rocky's fine. He lives through the film. But basically,
He beat kids.
yeah. But basically, no, he's still dying. They're keeping something for sequel. But basically, you had that. You had Rocky. Ironically, Rocky went to a grave in it, like he did in 6.
Mm-hmm.
Right next to Adrian's grave is now Paulie's.
Mm.
And he pops a bottle of whiskey on Paulie's grave, sits down and talks to Adrian. I'm like, that's kind of beautiful. I'm like, that's kind of all sorts of wonderful. But during this film as well, the new boxer, like with Apollo Creed in the first one, where he was just that arrogant, but he was really flamboyant in his arrogance. The new guy is kind of really realistic. He reminds me of a Scouse David Hay. That probably means nothing to anyone here, does it? Scouse is in from Liverpool, and David Hay the boxer. But he reminds me, so it's like, he's like an actual boxer, but he's like, and during it, he tells him he's gonna have to fight him under the name Creed. And they don't understand why. And when they actually go to the press conference, it's because the story he's trying to tell is this kid here thinks he's born into greatness. I went from rags to riches, which he did. He's like, you know what I mean? So he's painted the actual underdog as like the undeserving chump that's trying to dare hurt this underdog. I'm like, that's kind of wonderful. And the fight is fucking great. I'm not going to spoil any of the really big stuff, but I was like, oh my god, that film is so good. It feels like Rocky 1, but at the same time, it feels like it's its own entity enough. You're like, okay, it's just got sort of like a tiny little things in common, if that makes sense. I'm like, that's so wonderful. I'm like, oh my god, I love Creed. I'm hoping they do a Creed 2. Thank you. Back to Rick.
All right. Is Jim back?
Jim is back.
Oh, okay. So you want
Fuck
to
him. He had his moment and he blew it.
Okay, fuck me. Back to Rick.
You know what? You don't get do-overs on this show.
Nope, no do-overs.
Damn, it got strict.
Wow.
Okay, Jim, your catch up.
No, you get a do-over, Rick.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, fine, be that way. Next time I'll let Pew host your show for 3 weeks.
No.
She never hosted.
I know. There's a reason for that.
Or contributed anything of merit.
But no, my news. I guess we'll just do them both in a row since I think Mole did both of his.
Yes.
That's how we do this.
That's how the catch up.
Oh, we're on the catch up. All right, we're past the news. I forgot. So, basically, the 2 shows I watched this week. 2 episodes of 2 shows actually. One of which was Person of Interest, of course. Finally back on the air again this week. The first episode was a fake-out episode where you think a bunch of really shocking things are happening, but spoiler, it's just in one of the characters' minds because she's being brainwashed.
Those are always shit.
Yeah. On the plus side, part of what happened in her mind did include a hot lesbian sex scene. I'm okay with this.
Nice.
Totally. But
Is it wrong?
yeah, it
I
was
was
really
not
cool.
in my head.
It was really cool the way they set it up because the character is Shaw, who has been indisposed since partway through last season because she was kidnapped by a Samaritan because in real life the actress got pregnant. But they started.
Her?
What's that?
Did he impregnate her on the show?
No.
Oh. Did he make her fat?
No.
With his fat ray?
He made her pregnant with a pain baby.
Yes. I like the idea of a fat ray. You point it on fire and, oh my god, they become fat.
Okay,
Isn't that in Ratchet and Clank? If not, I imagine
Oh,
it would be.
That should be, yeah.
That's your thing. They got a chicken gun, why not? Anyway, so I mean, it was really interesting where it opens up with this scene of she's at the brainwashing facility, but she ends up breaking free, and then we see a whole bunch of events of like dramatic things happening. One of the main characters gets shot, something else, a lot of dramatic stuff happening, and it turns out at the end because they thought that they had embedded this microchip in the back of her neck, and that it was supposed to be making her work for the evil AI, but then it's a placebo, it's not really there, but then no, she's actually just been laying in the bed under the brainwashing the whole time. Because within this fake mind simulation, they're trying to get her to lead them to the good guys' hideout, so they know where it is, so they can go capture the good guys and destroy their AI machine. And they say they've done this like I don't know, this is like some day like 500-600 times, and she's resisted them every time thus far. So that was kind of cool. Then they're airing one on Monday and one on Tuesdays. And the Tuesday episode was cool because we found out, again, spoilers for Person of Interest, you haven't seen it, that the since last season thought to be dead character of Carl Elias, the mob boss, is somehow still alive.
Dun, dun,
The
dun.
second, third time he's been shot, but he's still alive. He survived, and he's in a hospital bed, but he's alive. So. Fair enough, that was surprising, as his former associate and best friend demanded to know what happened to him, and they finally had to realize, oh yeah, he's alive, we're hiding him because otherwise he's going to get taken out. So, that was cool. The other big thing that happened, the more big thing, was the 2-part season finale of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Which, of course, we go to the conclusion of the story arc involving the character Hive, who has taken over what was Hydra. And was infecting the Inhumans to make them part of his collective, because that's his thing that he does, I guess. His connection, and was going to try to turn all the normal humans into Inhumans, but not full-on Inhumans with cool powers, just sort of like malformed, super strong, blind to him, basically human putty patrollers.
He's gonna make them Morlocks.
Something like that, yeah.
Basically, he's unleashing the synoptic from the end of that shitty Spider-Man Unlimited cartoon.
I haven't seen that cartoon, so I can't tell you.
That was awesome.
Okay.
A planet
even
of
shit-
venom and carnage.
Nice. Even shitty cartoons get something awesome now and again. But yeah, so we got to see the whole end of the arc. It had been predicated through the most of this past season that one of the members of the S.H.I.E.L.D. team was going to die. Again, spoilers if you haven't seen it. It was Luke. That was probably the least dramatic one you could have killed off, so not a shock. Oh, you killed off Sky's boyfriend. No. It was a cool way he ended it, though, and that was pretty neat, where he basically they had a warhead on top of this plane, and the warhead was going to explode and spread the stuff that was going to turn everybody into the inhuman zombies all over the place. And so they managed to get the warhead on this plane, and they fired the plane into space so that they would blow up in space and it wouldn't hurt anybody. And Luke managed to drag his bleeding out from being injured body onto the plane and surprised Daisy or Sky by being in the front seat and be like, because they did this cool scene where she was loading the warhead and she was going to try to get it out of there, and Hive showed up, and Hive was like, even if you launch this, you realize I'm just going to activate the manual. I'm going to just activate the manual override and bring this right back to where it needs to be, right? And then, having not seen him at all, Luke just pops around in the pilot seat like, well, it's a good thing I just shorted out the manual override. Because he's got electricity powers. He blasts Sky off the plane, seals the door, and then takes off with the bad guy so that she'll survive and he can take out the villain since he's already bleeding out and probably going to die anyway. Which was pretty badass. So, they did the whole big ending. Revenge was had. Team had a loss. Fitz and Simmons finally got together. The other Inhumans are, I don't know. We end with apparently Daisy's on the run, and the S.H.I.E.L.D. people are trying to catch her, and Coulson's not the director anymore. It's kind of up in the air. The best part of this whole thing was they introduced a character a few episodes before that's apparently going to continue as a major character next season, of this doctor guy who's being into like robotics and technological enhancement of humans. And I think Mole knows the comics. He might know. It's a Dr. Radcliffe. Apparently, he built a character known as Adam in the comics, who was like an android, and Adam was like an acronym for something. But I think they've changed it to be a female because he was talking to this AI he referred to as Ava, and they showed this body, and he was like, "Congratulations, Ava, it's your birthday." So I think they might have gender swapped the android. But it's pretty cool because that doctor is, first of all, he was originally kind of a douche, but then he got kidnapped by Hive and was being forced to manufacture the formula that was going to turn everybody into inhuman zombies. And he was like, and then he started turning into like a chicken shit trying to save himself. And it was at that point, I knew I recognized the guy, and I couldn't place it. Then when he turned into a chicken shit and started trying to save himself, I'm like, oh, it's Jonathan from The Mummy. I knew that guy. That's how he acts in that movie. So when he's out there, like, oh, it's John. Okay, and like that was God. He's a great actor. I'm glad to see him in the show. Props to him, and look forward to seeing what he does next season because they built him up like he could or could not be the main villain next season. So I'm interested in seeing that. Should be a lot of fun. So yeah, I watched that stuff this week. That was about all I did.
All right.
And I also watched Once Upon a Time finale, but we're going to be reviewing that season later, so I'm not going to bring that up.
Gotcha.
Plus, you're not going to be bringing it up because you've mentioned two things already.
Yes, that too.
That's how counting works.
When did that happen?
Yeah, when did they change that one? Back to Rick.
All right. So for my catch up, first talk about San Andreas, the movie. Saw that like a little bit less than a week ago. The one with The Rock and other people. I don't know.
Did The Rock do a good job as CJ?
He did okay. Excuse me. He did a terrible job as CJ, but slightly better job in the movie.
Okay. So is
Sorry, I
it?
had some coughing. But it's bad. It's not quite because I was talking about this with Wife Blade, but like with those like so bad it's good movies, it's like that they're bad, but they don't try to be better. It's like they know they're going to be bad and just go with it. And then, but a lot of times most Hollywood movies, they're bad, but they don't realize it, so they're going all serious, and it's like that makes it worse somehow. It's not unwatchable, but it's definitely not good. It's got like just about every freaking trope from a disaster movie in it. And
How many heads out of 10 do you give it?
like 2, I don't know.
2 heads out of 10.
2 heads.
Well, it's kind of funny because I don't know if you've seen it or care about. I mean, I don't know if this is a spoiler. I mean, it's a disaster movie. If you're like, oh, I wonder who's gonna die in it, you're probably right. But they have the I don't know the actor's name. I apologize. I'm just gonna call him Reed Richards from the like less crappy Fantastic Four movies. But
You'll grow fud.
thank you. But he's like the mom's new boyfriend or whatever like that. And he's like a nice guy and he's like rich and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, what are they going to do? And then they're trapped, the daughter and he are trapped, not his daughter, the Rock's daughter, are trapped underground. Or, sorry, not the Rock's daughter, fucking, what's her, Annabeth, I'm going to call her that. Yeah?
Oh, what was it? The guy who played Reed in the original Fantastic Four 2 films. Does anyone else think he looks like, when you go to the pound store and you see like the cheap knockoff figures? He looks like one of those figures of Matthew Broderick. Like it's not quite him, but it's recognizable enough that you're like, oh, it's him.
But they're like down underground and he can get out and he's like, I'm going to go get help. And it's like, okay. And he goes up and he tells the guard, he's like, help, she's trapped down there. And then like rubble collapses and almost kills him. And then he kind of like wanders off, and I'm like, okay. And then like the guy that the English speaking guy like act like British kind of, he's got the accent, so of course girls love him. And but then he and his brother are like, oh, we got to go save that girl that I just met because I like her. And I'm like, they're gonna try to set up Reed Richards as an asshole when like he almost died. He's probably in shock and just wandered away. It's like, and he actually warned the guy. He said, hey, she's down there. So like, what else was he supposed to do? It makes sense. Then it's like they got to do something else to make him look like an asshole, so you want him to die. And then later they have him do like an asshole thing, so you'll be happy when he dies. And I'm like, that's just, why didn't you just make him the asshole the whole time? Like they could have done it, but they're like, no, we're not. We're gonna do it this way. And then it's like, so it looks justified, and then we'll just make him an asshole because you're supposed to hate him. And I'm like, oh.
Is there at least like plot convenient lava like that other one we were talking about where it goes as slow as whatever they're traveling in?
Kind of. He's like jetting toward a tsunami, and he's like, "Oh man, I gotta go full throttle or whatever, so we can get over the wave before it crests." And it's like, why weren't you going that speed the whole time? You could see the tsunami, and the tsunami's powerful enough to flip over a giant like container ship. But his little dinghy can beat it.
Did he go to eject the sea out of him and do a giant rock bottom to like a hurricane?
I kind of wish he did. That would have been better if he had done something that stupid. Like that would have been amazing. There's a part where he's like stealing a truck, and like this guy comes up that I guess I don't think it's his. I think he was stealing it too, and the Rock just was doing it better. And the guy comes up with a gun, and he's like a foot from the Rock with a gun, and I'm just like, oh, I can see how this is gonna go. And he like grabs it and punches the dude or whatever like that. It's like that seems like that would have been the good time for him to just rock bottom the guy on the stolen TV box or something. That would have been funny at least.
Please tell me he at least a cool thing from the TV show Angel. It's been in other stuff too, where he takes the gun and sort of does the underneath and pulls the trigger thing so it kills him with their own gun.
No, he didn't kill the guy. He just punched him and knocked him out and left him to die. Because he's a hero. He just, abandoned millions of people and his job to go save his ex-wife.
Hey, to be fair, he is a hero. He's not going to kill him, but that doesn't mean he has to save him.
Yeah. I'm leaving you to die. Go against my code to kill you, but if nature does it...
I'm leaving you to die in something I set up by telling someone to do this exact thing. But I don't kill.
But yeah, it's not, like I said, not unwatchable, but not great. But yeah, there are better disaster movies that were far lower budget. And then next thing I was doing, I played Bravely Second a lot this week, 3DS game, the sequel to Bravely Default. And it's, I know no one here is going to play it, and this isn't necessarily spoilers, but I'm at the end, sort of. But yeah, I've played it almost or around 70 hours at this point. Have some posts on my site where I detail like in chunks of like how my impressions of stuff are going. At the final boss right now, because I was trying to do some of the like end game stuff. Not that there's like bonus dungeons when you beat it or whatever. But I got the last job class, and you have to go and kill these powerful monsters to get abilities for the last job class. But all those fights were like gimmicky and just pissed me off, and I was like, fine, fuck it, I'm just gonna go beat the game because there's stuff like, oh, this guy can suck out a party member and remove them from battle, and he can return them if he feels like it. And if he does it to everyone, it's like game over. And there's no way to avoid it, and there's no way to like rescue your people. It's just if the AI decides to return the person, and I'm like, oh, that's cool.
So if he sucks them all up, but he returns them all, is it still game over?
Yeah, because once he's as long as if everyone's just like he basically pulls them into himself. So this is gonna sound weird, but if all of them are inside of him at the same time, then it's game over. Which is how I lost, because like he like sucked up one person, then eventually returned him, and I was hitting him, and he was actually down pretty far. I could have easily won, and but then like he pulled in two people at one point, and then like returned one. I'm like, oh gee, is this how it's gonna do it? Because there's no way to avoid it. Like there's no spell or effect where it can't work, which bugs me. But then he like sucked up the last person. I was like, yeah, maybe because they're not dead. It's just out of battle, and it's like game over. I'm like, okay, cool, that's fun. And then one of them does love the status ailment, which is fucking annoying too, because it's like, oh, if you use it on this person, use it on a person, and then it randomly selects one of the other party members, and they're in love with them, and they will just mimic what they do. But if there's two people in love with the same one, they'll like kill each other, which is funny, but also really annoying because there's nothing that prevents it, and I'm just like, and so
wait, if two people are in love with the same person, the two people in love with that person will kill each other?
Yes.
What if two people are in love with each other?
Oh man, I have no idea. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Because they're trying to mimic each other, but they're both mimicking each other, so what? Yeah.
They'd probably do nothing.
Permanent paralysis.
Yeah. But does that one wear off? That one might, because I know that there's one of the other bosses that does it, but they also have an ability that will just do a ton of damage to anyone in love, called Heartbreaker, appropriately. But and I can't remember if I killed that one because there's 7 of them. They represent the 7 sins, and I think I beat like 3 of them, and I fought 2 others, and I'm like, this is annoying. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go beat the game. Like I'm too old to deal with this shit. Back when I was like 18 and whatever with the RPGs, I was like, oh yeah, it's fine. You try to figure it out, and now I'm just like, nah, I got too much to play for it. And then the second to last boss has this also. You'll notice a theme. That's what, like, at the end of the game, it's just every boss has like a gimmick or something that you can't really mitigate, and that bothers the shit out of me, or it's like super specific. But like she has an ability that will set your max HP at 1, and it doesn't wear off. You have to have a specific ability from one of the jobs called Undo that like rewinds it a couple turns, and that's the only thing that'll cure it. And I'm like, that's kind of bullshit. Like even if they die, they still have 1, and it's like. Okay. And so yeah, best thing.
So basically, you're screwed unless you have the what is it? Unless you have the powers of that teenage girl from that game, Life is whatever the fuck that game is called.
Life is Strange.
Oh, Life.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. At least it only hits one person at a time, and she only does it every couple turns, but it's still annoying. And the best way I found to deal with it while I was doing it was because like some of the abilities are fucking awesome. Like one of the new classes, they have an ability called Spellcraft where you can modify spells in cool ways, and one of them is called Mist, where it'll for the next 3 turns it'll constantly do that. So if you do that on the resurrection spell, at the end of every turn it'll resurrect anyone that's dead, and that was like the best way to deal with that, was because if they have 1 HP, if she hits them, they die. So that would just auto-res them at the end of the turn, which is kind of cool. But I eventually beat her. And then the final boss, what did he do that was stupid? Oh yeah, he has this thing where it's like command from on high or something, and it picks a character and he's like, okay, you have to do this specific thing. So he picked one of my characters and he's like, you have to kill that character, your other one, and I'm like, okay. And if you don't do it after a couple turns, he just does like not even 4 digits. He just does fucking 5 digits of damage and just wipes everyone out. I'm like, that seems cool. So like, I have to do whatever random thing he demands that I do, or he'll kill me. Unresistible. I'm like, yeah, fun. So yeah, we'll see. I might beat that today. Otherwise, I might just put it down and play Project Cross Zone 2 and be like, fine, fuck you, Bravely Second. I got my money's worth. Because it's like 70 hours about the collector's one because it has a nice, gigantic, fucking awesome art book.
Nice.
But yeah, it's like, oh yeah, that's kind of what happened in the first. Well, it's a different sort of bullshit in the first game, because that one, rewinding a bit, but there was like the whole trick of that game was once you beat quote unquote the final boss, it would kind of start over, and you didn't have to do any of the plot, but it would put all the bosses back, which was good for experience and stuff like that. But you kept repeating this loop, and after a while, after like 5 times of doing that or something like that, they would say like, oh, the characters would kind of figure out what you have to do to break the loop. And the problem was like you have to, if you didn't figure that out, or also you had to do it a minimum of a certain amount of times, which pads the play length, but also pissed a lot of people off. So most people just got to that point and just stopped playing because it's like, oh, you could have done it way better. And this one kind of has a function like that, where it, at least for me, I imagine most people don't have this problem, but like I thought it was pretty easy to screw up, where like it could repeat, but you had like this one little part where if you did something, then it was totally fine and you would actually continue the game. And I was like, oh. So it has a lot of really good stuff in it, but then they just throw in like this bullshit like toward the end of the game. They're like, oh, you already put in 40 plus hours, fine, we don't care about you anymore. It's like, that's not good. But yeah, that's what I was playing mostly this week.
Fair enough.
That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, it sounds like interesting.
Yeah, game is fun. It just likes to throw bullshit. All right, so now on to our topic, which is some of the trailers that have come out.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know if anyone wants to throw one out there first. I guess I'll do one. Last night, Marcus showed me this one, the second Ghostbusters one. I don't know if it's the second one, but the latest Ghostbusters trailer.
I like the new Ghostbusters trailer.
Yeah, I thought that one looked pretty good.
Though I
Not too bad.
I did notice that trailer just demonstrates further why trailers now are different to how they used to be. Because when you watch the original Ghostbusters trailer, to be fair, it's a reboot, so you could also argue the other way if they're doing that for the nostalgia factor. When you watch the original Ghostbusters trailer, there wasn't a Marshmallow Man in it. This one shows it's a giant white ghost that's walking through the town. Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's cool. However, the ghost looked fun. Slimer looked cool, but it looked like she blasted him in the face. But I love the fact that I also love how they get their name, Ghostbusters. From Secretary Thor. That might not be what his name is in this film, but that's what I'm calling him at the moment. Secretary Thor, where he's on the phone and he's like, what's it called? And she goes through this big name and she's like, do you understand? He's like, yeah, Ghostbusters. And it gives him a thumb up, like that's exactly the same. I'm like, that's awesome. That's really fucking funny. And the girl at the end, when she's caught by the big pterodactyl in the trailer, is funny. When she's like, no, I'm just going to be taken off now. No one angered the ghost.
I don't know if it was a race thing or a lady thing, but I'm pissed off.
Yeah. See, she's had the best lines in a lot of trailers, almost. Yeah. At the end, each time, like that one, and the power of pain compels you. She slaps him across the face. I'm like, that's just awesome. I don't know why, that's kind of funny. I know some people are like, she's racist, but like, there's actual people out there like her, though.
Yeah. It's like, that means it's a stereotype, not racist. They're different. They
Yeah.
cross over, but they're different.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not like she's done to insult black people. She's just
Yeah.
a trope.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not as racist as Tony Stark is to white men.
Eh.
Yeah, I said it. We don't all like war and making money. No, we do. Jim doesn't, but he's new pew.
I'm new pew.
But yeah, I thought that was a pretty good trailer. I do agree, though, it definitely shows a difference in trailers. It felt very like a modern trailer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Like
let's
watching-
show
yeah.
war ghosts.
Yeah. You're just like, oh.
But I'm also curious, like, what summons him, because it looks like he's summoned with all the other ghosts, so it looks like it's not going to be like, oh, someone chose the form of the Destroyer, and they just thought of their logo.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wait, is that going to be pretty fun?
I did like how there was that scene where it looked like Secretary Thor got possessed by a ghost.
Mm-hmm. That's officially his name.
It is.
Yes.
And that was the new Star Trek trailer.
There was. It's pretty actiony.
The movie one, I'm saying that because I know Jim will probably mention the TV one, but yeah, the movie one, I liked it. It looked pretty fun. It looked actiony, but it also looked story driven, like what they were going with the stuff with Kirk and his dad and stuff. I'm like, that was one of the most interesting parts of the first film.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see that because
Yeah.
I've always mentioned the best Star Trek stuff to me is normally the stuff like with most sci-fi where it's relatable no matter what era you're in, or at least enjoyable. That seems like a sort of story similar to what I mentioned with Creed, ironically, of not wanting to live up to your father's legacy and being your own man. I'm like, that looks cool.
Yep. And ironically, that brings us full circle because if you remember the first Abrams movie, Kirk's father was played by Starfleet Thor.
Yep. Secretary. Starfleet Thor. He's gonna appear in this all male one, isn't he?
Yeah. The all-male Star Trek? No, I know you mean Ghostbusters, but no. I'm Uhura.
Oh god, when you say that, I'm just picturing Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
And he's answering phones in the background. It's hilarious.
Mm. I want to.
Oh my God.
I want to see Uhura played by the black chick from Ghostbusters.
I want to see Uhura played by Samuel Jackson in the background. Well, Christopher Walken is the captain. And Spock is Arnold Schwarzenegger with really shitty fake pointy ears stuck to him. This
Okay,
looks
then.
out. And the Asian guy, George Takei, I forgot his character's name.
Sulu?
Yeah, thank you, Sulu. He must be played by the very Asian Kristen Krunk, so they can have one female on board. She is the most Asian of actresses. Like on a scale of like Lucy Liu to her.
Bones should be played by David Boreanaz.
Yes.
He's like, this isn't funny, guys. That's all he said. That's his whole part. He's like, that isn't funny. And he never goes back to him.
See, why won't Hollywood let me cast stuff?
And
I don't know.
Scotty played by Sean Connery.
Yes.
Oh, Scotty has to be a Scottish guy. That's racist. He's gonna be played by one of the actors from Cool Runnings.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I be Scotty, dude. I be beaming you down now, man.
No, I want him to be played by I forget his name, but the dude in Police Academy that does all the noises, and he just does
Michael
all the
Winslow.
noises. Yeah, and he does all the noises for the board. I'm transporting you now.
Oh my god. Next generation. He should be Data.
Yes.
Yeah.
And every episode, because of the next gen, used to love doing that shit every week. He goes crazy, but does different noises. And like, every time he walks, he just does his Terminator.
Yes. Like RoboCop and stuff. That'd be so
Yes.
awesome.
See, let us cast Star Trek. This would be
I know.
amazing. Instead of the ship, I'm thinking it'd have to look like a giant, like, you know, like the stuff like that's old retro cars, like the neutrinos from the 80s Turtles were. It'd have to look like one of them stretched like a limousine. And that's how I'm picturing the stuff, the new Enterprise.
I was picturing it like Soul Plane, but that could work.
Yeah, we cast great films here.
We do.
Just imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger though, with really shitty, and I say really shitty because I want him to look really fake because that's more hilarious. Pointy ears, saying in his accent that is highly illogical. No, I am a man of science, not strength, as he's like a big fucking bodybuilder.
I just can't wait for like his one-liners.
It would be amazing.
That'd be awesome.
Jim likes our cast. Jim's almost, I can hear him just orgasming at the thought of Star Trek being that awesome.
Full can do it.
And instead of phasers, it's dubstep guns.
Yes.
Yes.
Drop the beat.
And Worf in Next Generation will be played by Andy Dick. Because that's more funny. Or Pat Oswald.
Yeah. I'll go with that one.
We'll go with that one. Actually, no, it's going to be played by Bill Cosby. He needs work. It's the future. He will have been released.
He should be the doctor. I'm gonna give you something. Wait.
Yes. We're awesome cast. But yeah, like I said, that white ghost chick from the new Star Trek trailer that I mentioned to you, she looks kind of cool. The lizard guy, I'm hoping it's a Gorn
Yeah.
named Jax.
Yes.
That'd make it awesome. But no, like I said, it looks cool and they look pretty good. And there's been some photos where like he's doing the same thing Khan and Vader and stuff have done before, and had the one arm lifted up to choke someone. It's one of those cliches that's really fucking stupid. But it's really awesome at the same time. It's like whenever someone lights a cigarette, although they won't do that anymore, but like the old stuff when they used to light cigarettes in the most stupid places.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's now fire on the floor. Ah.
Yeah. Just stick the end of it in there.
Oh my god, you got a flamethrower. Pulls out cigarette. Ah. That was awesome. That was cool.
It was. You're like, I'll just tell you, not a big spoiler, but I'm gonna say, if you like people getting force choked, you're gonna like the most recent half season of Once Upon a Time, or at least the last 3 or 4 episodes.
Are there any other trailers?
I was waiting for Jim
anyone
to
out?
throw one
Yeah.
out there. I wasn't sure if he was going to mention the TV show.
Oh, I can do that. Yeah, there was a trailer for the new Star Trek TV series. We didn't see much, just a lot of space.
Pretty
But,
much like every season.
Pretty much. It looked pretty. I mean, it looked pretty cool. I was talking to Marcus Shadow about it, and he said he thought that at one point where they showed the destroyed planet or moon, he thought that might be the moon Praxis that got destroyed in Star Trek VI, given that they're picking it up shortly after, around that time frame.
No.
So-
No, that couldn't be right.
So that could be. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. Seeing what they can do. It looks pretty cool. The effects budget is certainly going to be the best they've ever had on the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to that.
I don't know if it was this week, but it was definitely recently when we were doing the what's it called when we were having when like Civil War was out and stuff like before it. The Jason Bourne trailer looks awesome.
I didn't see that one.
That was at the beginning of ours. It was the Jason Bourne one. I was like, oh my god, that looks so fucking cool. And even before he said what his name was in there, it's showing. I'm like, oh my god, this is the new Jason Bourne film. I don't like the look of the Warcraft trailer though. That might just be me. I'm like, I'm watching it. I was like, yes, this could be the movie that makes video game movies cool. And I'm watching like, oh.
I just did they have a new one? I just remember the one from a while ago.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know which ones were new or not, but that was like right at the beginning when we went to see stuff.
Gotcha. Because
so I assume there might be a new one for it.
There might be. I just remember the one I saw and I was like, oh, this looks terribly generic.
No. Yeah, it looks like you said generic as fuck, but it also doesn't look like great CGI. At least if it's a generic, it should at least look pretty.
Yeah.
But you saw a few more, didn't you, Rick?
Yeah, there's the Assassin's Creed trailer one. That they had that looked better than I thought it would look. I was talking with Marcus about it, and he was complaining that they put him in they redesigned the Animus, and he's like, I could get behind that, but they put like assassin blades on him because he's gonna relive his ancestors. And I was like, why would they put actual blades on? He's like, where would they get them? I'm like, well, from dead assassins, and there's traitors, so that makes sense. But like, why wouldn't you give them like prop ones? Like, you wouldn't actually need blades in them. Like, why would you? Like, oh, we're gonna train our mortal enemy to be like our mortal enemies and give him weapons. We're just gonna watch him. And I was
maybe
like,
it was the one from his ancestor.
Maybe. I don't know if he needs them though. It's just kind of funny that.
So it's like the DNA of his ancestor on those mixed with his DNA will create the perfect being, like Super 17. I love bringing Super 17 up because that was some of the most fucking stupidest idea ever. Especially when they said the lines. He was meant to be more powerful, even than Cell. I'm like, no, he wasn't. Cell was literally designed to absorb this fucker.
Yeah.
Once he absorbed that cunt, he would become stronger.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. It's like, no, it's not how this works. But there was a leaked trailer that looked pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
But it's for a TV show, so I don't know if we're counting that.
Sure.
I did the Star Trek TV show.
Yeah. It was for the DC Comics one, Powerless.
Oh, nice.
The cast looks really fucking good as well. Like, it's got the guy from Community in it. What's his name? Danny Pudi, or whatever he was called. He was Abed in Community. You also have like Alan Tudyk from Firefly in there and stuff like that. And Vanessa Hudgens, apparently she's been in some stuff. But basically, it looks funny where it's like, oh, we're all working in like this like office basically with, I think it was insurance in a world that happens to have superheroes, and the fact it's licensed superheroes somehow makes it fun. Because don't get me wrong, that concept on its own is hilarious, but when you make it actually Superman or actually Batman, somehow it just gains an extra, you know what I mean? It just gains something new, like
Right.
Wreck-It Ralph. If they just used all generic characters, it would have been fun, but the fact every now and again there's Sonic, there's Cubert and stuff made it suddenly feel more real.
Yeah.
Even though they're fake stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah. The other trailer I think I saw was or why now I saw it, but the other one was the Out of the Shadows latest one,
Nice.
which didn't look too bad. You actually hear Rocksteady talk, And I swear he talked twice. Maybe I wasn't sure who was talking. The first time I was like, oh, that doesn't sound like Seamus. Like, did they just redub him? That's kind of cold, but I could understand it. And then later he talks. I'm like, no, it's Seamus. Okay, so I was like, wait, was the first one not him and it was a different character? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They might be using, like computers to make him sound deeper.
Maybe.
Because isn't he? If you're about when he's mutated, so logically he'd want to sound more animalistic.
Yeah. Well, the second one it was when he was mutated and he sounded like Seamus. So like So the first one maybe it was just a different character. I don't know that was talking.
Mm-hmm.
But they also show slightly more of Krang, which is like, as we were saying earlier, it's like, oh, like I was fine with that first preview, or maybe I don't know, one of the other trailers they like showed like that brief scene. I would have been fine if that's all you saw of him in the trailer. So you kind of, when you see it in the movie, you're like, oh, okay, but they like showed more of it, and I was like, oh, okay, well, it still looks fine, but it would have been cool to see that instead of a trailer.
I mentioned to someone recently, I think there's a reason for that nowadays, and it's a shit reason.
Mm-hmm.
If they didn't show that Krang thing like that, how often when someone gets a leaked copy before it comes in cinemas, would that be plastered all over online? Like, look at the new costume.
True.
Or various sites will do like, this is the top 5 reasons this costume sucks.
Yeah.
Or this is the top 5 reasons this costume is awesome. It's like, fuck off. We don't need lists about every fucking thing. No offense, Jim. But it was basically a case of, with that, you're like, no, fuck off. They do it so it's like they've released this information, so now you can't.
Yeah. Yep. I could see that.
Which is a shame, but it's also like, isn't that like also that's also the reason why Fox and possibly Disney, because I believe Disney were one of the ones rumored, are going to be pulling out of Comic-Con this year. Because they're sick of their stuff when they do like exclusive footage just for the place being put online. Which I'm like, I can understand it, to be fair, because it's like you've earned tickets to it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The panels isn't, because like they said, the panels aren't the problem, because they have no problem with the panels, which I agree with. People should see the panels. It's the case of when they show like this is the first footage, and then they show it online, and it's like, well, people have paid good money to see this. That's literally why they've gone there, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of bad. It's like when people are like, no, we're not going to watch this film, we're just going to put it online. It's like, no, fuck off. And especially with some of the footage isn't even that stuff that's in the film, it's stuff exclusive, to it.
Yeah.
But, like I said, I think that's the reason they do it. But yeah, a lot of modern trailers now are showing way more than they should.
Yeah.
They are.
But it's for that reason, and also for the reason with social media, if they don't feel like they've shown enough, there'll be someone out there that makes a big deal about, like, I don't know, like, let's say Batman v Superman, if they had not shown Doomsday in the trailer, how much would people then bitch if, oh my god, Doomsday was in this? You never told us that. Boo, we've been lied to. You know what I mean? I'd be like, no, they didn't lie to you about this. It's like literally the Civil War trailer literally shows you the final fight.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it was a slight spoiler. You know that one I said looked silly, the one where it's Captain America and Bucky fighting Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally the final, like, what was it, 10 minutes of the film?
Oh wow.
It might be a little longer, but it's definitely the last fight in the film. And you're like, what the fuck? Because all throughout the film, you know that fight's coming up now because you've seen the trailer. They made such a big deal about it. It's like when they showed how much footage did they show of Hulkbuster?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, it had like 1 second longer. Cool. Which is a new way of lying to us because you think, oh, we're showing us all this footage. There must be more of it. But I've been enjoying those trailers, and like I said, we'll talk about new trailers. It doesn't necessarily have to be the ones from this week. There is one film that it's been shown twice now when I've gone to the cinema that I really want to see. It's a DreamWorks film, and no, it's not Trolls, Jim. It's Pets, or The Secret Life of Pets.
I've heard about that.
It looks really fucking funny. It's like, oh, this is your pet. And it's like, yeah, it's just like a well-behaved dog. And the second the owner leaves, it then hits the stereo and fucking rocks out the music. And it's got like Kevin Hart as a dog and stuff like that. I'm like, it sounds dumber than it is when I'm saying it out loud, but it's really fucking, it looks funny.
That sounds funny.
Like, I'll admit, the Angry Birds trailer doesn't look that bad.
No, it doesn't.
The Trolls film, it's a recent trailer, does look fucking horrible.
That looks, yeah.
Is it like the Troll Dolls? Or...
Yep.
Okay.
Troll
Damn,
Dolls.
I thought the like Angry Birds movie came out well past its prime, but a Trolls movie, that ups the ante.
Yeah. Just wait till Abacus the movie.
I know. You see, Jim, Troll Dolls were a thing that were very popular.
Yeah, they were dolls that when you pulled the string on the back would insult other dolls while hiding behind a keyboard.
They need to make those. Trolls.
That'd be amazing.
It would be.
But yeah, they're doing a troll film. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That looks really weird. I kept seeing I think the film's out now, the Days of Future Past trailers. Not Days of Future Past, Apocalypse ones. I'm like, that looks really fucking fun. I really would.
That doesn't come out till Friday here.
Yeah, I would have definitely gone to see that in the cinema. Except for the fact I don't want to see too many, obviously, and I'm limited to when I can go see them.
Yep.
I just saw Batman v Superman, Civil War, Jungle Book, and this Saturday coming up when it's released, fucking Through the Looking Glass.
Nice.
Literally watched the new Alice film the other day with my niece because she was like, oh, I really want to see that film when we went to see Jungle Book. And I'm like, oh, cool. So you like the first one? She's like, there was a first one? I was like, oh, the things I must show you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the other day when I was talking to her, and I'm like, yeah, it's like Marty McFly. She's like, who's that? I'm like, you've not seen Back to the Future? She's like, I don't remember Back to the Future. I'm like, okay, I got our next weekend planned.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, why? And I'm like, there's 3 of them. And she's like, what? Yeah, we're gonna watch all 3. She's like, oh my god, they're all good. I'm like, the first 2 are good.
It's about right.
And she's like, what about the third one? Closure.
There you go.
It's like I joked the other day at work that I can't wait till I have amnesia. Well, not amnesia, sorry. I can't wait till I have Alzheimer's. Thank you.
Yeah.
I can't wait till I have Alzheimer's for one reason. It's on my list of things to do before I die is get Alzheimer's and then rewatch stuff like episode 5. Holy fuck, it's his dad! And be like, oh my god, I did not see that coming. Playing a video game, oh my god, I'm Darth Revan. Holy fuck, did not see that coming.
Nice.
Because who wouldn't like that? Where you're like, oh my god, did not see that coming.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I do have a topic for next week, maybe.
Yeah.
In mind. What was that? What was that, Jim?
No, I was saying when you're done, there's one more trailer we gotta talk about.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
Fuck you. No, I'm kidding. We will. I was gonna say I had an idea for a topic next week, Rick. If you were back next week, of films. Just because this has become a big genre right now, films we want to see have a late sequel.
Mm.
Like Episode 7 and Creed and stuff. Oh, Creed's more of a spin-off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's those type of sequels, not like the new Ghostbusters, it's a reboot, because there's so many I want to see. Where I'd love to see a new modern take on it.
Mm.
Like, for example, and this would totally make my list, a new Karate Kid. Fuck Jaden Smith's version. Fuck that. Fuck it. I'd take the next Karate Kid over that, because at least she's doing karate. But basically, I want to see a Karate Kid with Daniel's son as Mr. Miyagi.
Mm.
How awesome would it be to see Daniel's son train someone in karate?
That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Your trailer, Jim.
Suicide Squad.
Nice. I wasn't sure if we had one this week. Oh, if we're about the recent stuff, the recent one was really fucking fun.
Yeah, I saw there was like a new one that just came out like today.
Nice.
I think.
I didn't see that one. Last one I saw was the one with that "You Don't Own Me." That song playing for. I love that song. I love the trailer for Suicide Squad though. Like I said, I know a lot of people are gonna hate on it, but I like the new Joker. I fucking love that new Joker. In the trailer, he's acting like Joker, and people are like, well, he's got tattoos and braces. Like, but that's what modern gangsters are like. He used to be a gangster. Him wearing a 1950s suit now doesn't make him a gangster. It makes him a fucking hipster. And I'd rather live in a world with gangster Joker than a hipster Joker.
Oh my god, no! I want to see hipster Joker.
I want to see hipster Joker.
It's just all ironic jokes.
Yeah. That'd just be great.
Isn't that what? Well, if hipster Joker just uses all those props, is Carrot Top hipster Joker?
Yes. No. But oh my god, that would be amazing, hipster Joker. But no. But I like I said, I like the look of him in that, and I love in the last one I saw, Harley Quinn got her hammer. It was the one with the yeah, it can be quite vexing. I'm like, I like that. The only person I'm not sold on in that film is Will Smith as Deadshot, which, like I said, he's a big enough name, and that's cool. But he suffers from the same thing as I mentioned, which is ironic. I used it the other way around. That Ant-Man suffered from. Paul Rudd is always fucking Paul Rudd. He's basically Mike from Friends in everything he's in. Will Smith is basically Will Smith in everything he's in. Whenever I see him, I'm like, this isn't Deadshot, it's Will Smith. I'm like, but he's a big enough name, it'll get people in there, I can see why.
Yeah.
To be fair, not a lot of people know who Deadshot is.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I'm not like 100% against it, like I wasn't against Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. I was against him not being Hank. But when I got over that, I'm like, okay, he's Scott, that's cool, I can see where they're going with that, that's cool. But I don't like Paul Rudd, because he's always Paul Rudd. Like, I don't like Will Smith and stuff because he's always fucking Will Smith.
It's true.
Yeah. Apparently that Suicide Squad trailer came out like a month ago. I thought it was new. It was not. I'm sorry.
You failed us, Jim.
I did fail you. I'm sorry. I failed.
Oh my god, that's the news I should have taken.
What? Oh, yeah.
The news of Supergirl moving to CBS, and Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, and League and Legends of Tomorrow are all going to have one massive fucking crossover next year. Damn it, now I can't bring that up. No one will know.
We also didn't get to bring up that Margot Robbie was getting a Harley Quinn spinoff.
I did. But that one, I'm still waiting to see Suicide Squad to decide if I want to see a spin-off of her.
That's fair
Don't get me wrong, she looks really fun, but trailers are designed to make us think the film's good. That could be all the best parts with her in it, if that makes sense. Like, it wouldn't be the first trailer. It'd be like, this looks really fucking good. And you get to see it, like, the trailer made this look a lot better than this actually was. Which, to be fair, that's the purpose of the trailer. It's designed to sell it.
It is.
No trailer's going to be like, this year, Adam Sandler has a film that's not funny, highly racist, and almost offensive to anyone with taste. Go see it if you hate life. That's never going to be the trailer. The trailer's always going to be, look how funny this is. Insert a review from a paper that you're like, that's not even a good paper. It's like 5 stars. Most hilarious thing ever. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Laugh out loud funny. As opposed to all those ones that are laugh inside funny. It's like when people say with books that they're a real page turner. Yes, that's how books work. When was the last time you bought a book and was like, oh, this doesn't turn, it's a brick?
Curse you, monkey paw.
Curse you, monkey paw. Yes. But no, but like I said, Suicide Squad does look fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Indeed, it looks like it's gonna be pretty good.
And I will
Also,
admit, just cause I brought it up, I will admit I'm super hyped for that fucking crossover. Because I
that
watch
sounded pretty
all
cool.
4 of those shows, so seeing them all in one big crossover is gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
How
Do
to
you think?
describe this to Rick? Rick, it's like if bacon crossed over with burgers.
What?
Nah,
Wow.
and cheese. Nah, I was not thinking of a bacon cheeseburger. That'd be stupid.
Yeah.
It's a crossover burger.
It's crossover burger, yes.
Yeah.
The McWhopper.
Do you think with all these characters on the same network and that the fact they've established Supergirl's in a parallel universe, they'll do Crisis or something?
Now I'm thinking they're just gonna do multiverse stuff to bring her over now and again.
Fair enough.
Because if they did Crisis, it would be a film, I feel.
Okay, I can see that.
Or at least a 2-part film, so then they could also bring back film people and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I want to see Supergirl travel to a world where she sees her human dad as Superman and be like, what? What happened to your beard? Dean Cain and a beard.
Yes.
Fun.
Yeah, because I was reading about that team up, and I know someone, I don't remember who it was, but somebody on Twitter said, "Oh, they should have Brandon Routh be Supergirl Superman, so that Superman and Adam can have hilarious mistaken identity antics."
Yeah. Well, he was the worst Superman.
Yeah.
He was a great Clark Kent, but it's the Tobey Maguire situation.
Yeah.
I said, Tobey Maguire wasn't a terrible Peter Parker. I'm not gonna hate everything he did.
Except when he was emo.
I did no. Even then, looks like I said it was him trying to act cool. It made logical sense.
Mm.
Whether or not it was executed well, but I'm just saying it made sense. If that makes sense, like Harry makes sense as a goblin, put him on a surfboard or a snowboard and shit. Arguable whether or not it makes sense, but yeah, with like I said, Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire was a great Peter Parker. I feel he was a shit Spider-Man because even when he did the joke of "Have you changed?" and threw the money at Doc Ock, it sounded more nervous and depressed than it did sarcastic or hilarious banter.
Mm.
Well, I also will admit on those shows I don't like Atom.
Fair enough.
I like the
Not that
character. I like the character. Ray's awesome. Ray Palmer is fucking awesome in the show. His powers aren't terrible. I just don't like the fact his suit's basically the Iron Man suit. I'm like, that's not what Atom is. I don't want an Iron Man. I want an Atom.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, yeah, there's like, did either one of you two before your film see the new Alice Through the Looking Glass trailers? Like I said that looks fun.
I've seen the commercials on TV, and I watched the trailer online. I didn't have it before the movie, I don't think. Actually, maybe we did. Because maybe that's the third one I can never remember, because we had X-Men Apocalypse, we had Suicide Squad, and maybe that was the third one.
But which side was it on? See, the trailers we got Angry Birds, Pets, Alice, Jason Bourne randomly, which I disagreed with, and a couple of others. Oh fuck, what the hell were they? Oh, we also got X-Men and stuff like that, but I don't know if you guys agree. I hate when I went to the cinema. I hated the fact Jason Bourne was before Jungle Book. It's like I didn't want Deadpool to be before which it was. I didn't want Deadpool to be before Episode 7. Not because I'm like, oh my god, that doesn't deserve to follow this or anything like that. But I'm like, this film is a PG film. Don't show rated R films trailers before PG films because that's just gonna make kids want to see them. Yeah, I'm not saying kids shouldn't watch rated R films. They probably will eventually watch them and sneak round, but don't try and sell it to them. That's stupid.
It's dumb, but unfortunately, it's the same principle that sells a large chunk of total sales of Grand Theft Auto games are to teenagers and kids.
Yeah, but to be fair, you don't get a Grand Theft Auto advert right before Dora the Explorer.
No, but I work at a retail store, and in the boys' department, they sell Call of Duty Black Ops T-shirts.
They do.
Kids.
Yeah, they do, and I've said at the time that would
And the
be wrong.
Megaphone.
But I was on about the advertising for the product, not the merchandise for the product.
Fair enough.
Because even stuff like that, like when I was a kid and we used to have Aliens and Predator action figures on the shelf, even at the time I was like, should I be buying this? When I was younger, because I was at the age where I was like, I knew I could buy it and play with it, but I was at the age where it was like, you know what I mean, right before you stop playing with action figures.
Yeah.
So I realized, like, wait a minute, isn't this shouldn't have a kids film, the toy?
Yeah. Did you hear that thing about they're redesigning the Predator's armor for the next movie?
Nice. Hopefully, the next movie follows on from Predators. I like that film. Predator 1, awesome. Predators, awesome. I didn't like Predator 2.
Fair enough.
It wasn't good. At least for me, it wasn't good. From
Did
the
you like
part
Alien
where
vs Predator?
what was that?
Did you like Alien vs Predator?
No. Did anyone? I
I haven't seen any movies in either franchise. I can't say. I was just
Yeah.
curious.
See, Predator 2, I hated it after a certain point where the Predator loses his mask and then spends the entire film still seeing in its vision that was established to be seen through the mask. That just irritated me. The whole time, that just irritated the shit out of me.
Understandable.
It's like in Superman Returns. It fucking pisses me off that he lifts the mountain of kryptonite.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, stop doing this. But yeah, like I said, we'd had some modern trailers. We had some talks about trailers. A little, what's that term, Rick, that would use? Loosey goosey.
Yes.
So take us out then, Mr. Hammer.
All right, so there you have it.
Hammer, as your German ancestors used to pronounce it.
There you go. So thank you very much for joining us for another OJ. Come on back next week and hear some new stuff. Thank you very much, and goodbye.